Hello everybody, I am Hoarder Gamer, and this is Hoarder's Comic Flex. I hope you are all doing well. I hope that you're having a good week. Today, we've got games, comic books, toys, but not necessarily in that order. First up, we're actually going to get into some video game news, and we're going to start with some good news. Some good, exciting news. A game was unveiled today that no one knew about and definitely would not have expected from the indie presentation that Nintendo put out today. They put out a whole listing of their indie games and then also a video accompanying that showing trailers from these games. And one of those happens to be Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles based. That game, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Splintered Fate, comes out July of this year. And as far as I know, no one knew about this. It's a roguelike, and all four turtles are available. So think something like Hades, except you can have up to 4 playable characters, and you have each of the turtles to choose from. And each turtle has their own speciality. So Raph has a greater chance of inflicting critical damage to enemies, and Donatello has the most range for his attacks, which makes sense because Donatello using his bow staff. Bosses shown are Leatherhead and Shredder. I'm sure there's going to be a lot more, but you see Shredder in a cinema, and you see a lot of foot soldiers being fought. You do actually see a boss battle with Leatherhead, though, rather early in the commercial, or trailer, as it were. And here's where it gets interesting, everybody. You'll probably be able to enjoy this on Series X and PS5, because it is a timed Switch console exclusive. So that could be 3 months, 6 months, a year. It's hard to say exactly how long, but at some point with that wording, they wouldn't just use that wording for no reason. They wouldn't just be like, hey, let's just say it's a timed Switch console exclusive for fun. So if you can't wait, you'll be able to get it in July. There's no exact date as far as I know, but it sounds awesome to me. So I like Hades. I think Hades is a really good game. Pretty challenging, but every time you go through, you get a little bit more powerful. And it's interesting in the way these games work. So whether it's Hades, whether it's South Park Snow Day, some part you'll just want to go through and get the currency that can be spent at the end of a run. That'll be your goal. So you'll go out of your way to do that, not necessarily try to actually get through the ending or the boss character if it's going to be rather difficult. And then there are certain runs where you're totally, out to get that boss character, get the best, hopefully get the best drops for abilities and things like that, and then actually take it to those bosses, take it to Shredder in this case, right, and defeat everybody. So I like those games. I do. Certain ones I'm not the biggest fan of. I like the ones that really give you something cool to hold on to at the end. So Hades has darkness, and darkness are these darkened, almost purplish spheres, and that's currency at the end. Gold is currency you spend in a run. When the run is over, your currency is just gone. But the currency you keep is the darkness. And you can choose, like in Hades, to go through this gate, which will guarantee you get darkness at the end of a fight with enemies. And you might go through multiple gates to get that darkness, to build that up, to get yourself certain cool abilities for your character. So that's one of the reasons I like these games. Now, the ones that really punish you and don't seem to reward you for the time and effort you put into them, those are the roguelikes I don't like. In fact, it's possible there's still a debate to this day, right? The difference between a roguelike and a roguelite, as in Lite. And I guess, to be honest, I'm probably more in the roguelite category. I've got the South Park game right here. Let me just see if they really quickly say what it is. 4-player co-op. That's really wild. They don't say roguelite or roguelike at all, because that's a really easy way to explain the style of game. Okay? Like, if you saw this, you might just think it's exactly like Diablo or, you know, any action game like that. What about Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League? Is that a roguelike? No. No. Because that's, you're constantly gaining weapons, gear, fighting enemies. When you die, it's not a big deal. You don't restart the entire game. So that would be a roguelike if you restarted the entire game when you died. Like, the actual, like, back to the first chapter when you died. That's what a roguelike would be like. And some of them, like the South Park game, will actually let you, once you get to a new level, you can start on that level. You don't have to go completely from the beginning. Your run can start there. But with the South Park game, at least, each level probably will take you a couple hours to get through the first time. So you're still going to spend some time and effort on it, you know? It doesn't reward the time you spend. It does reward the time you spend. Now, see, what you're talking about is just a matter of opinion. And we'll come up to something later in the episode having to do with a matter of opinion. But, I was not expecting that question, and I was not expecting to answer it that way. I'll say that right now. Yeah, I could see some people saying that. I disagree, because you're still getting weapons. You're still getting experience to level up your characters. You're constantly getting something. You're constantly getting at least a nibble on the carrot, you know? You know? On occasion, you get that stick. They poke you with that stick. But for the most part, you get a nibble on the carrot. Now, it's interesting you mentioned Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League. And it's funny that I started everything out with, like, here's some good news. Here's a game that's going to be dropping that should be a lot of fun and really cool. So, right before I worked on the final elements for this episode, I saw that a friend of mine, Jay Shockblast, did a YouTube video, and I just have to say what that title is to everybody and then comment on it. I feel I need to. Dear Rocksteady, this isn't working. And I sadly have to agree with Jay. Some different points I have than Jay did, but he makes a lot of really good ones. His whole thing was the Gentleman Ghost skins just dropped in the store. And that was kind of like the last straw before him actually coming and doing this video. And he's like, Rocksteady, what are you doing? Do you understand, you know, and it's a good question. Do they understand their audience? Do they expect that everyone that wants to play that game is interested in Gentleman Ghost skins? You know? And he even went so far as to purchase the Deadshot Gentleman Ghost skin, so he had that, so he could show it as he was playing. He even made that commitment to do that. And I like Gentleman Ghost. It's kind of a deep cut. Here and there he shows up in the comics, and like even like in the cartoons and stuff. He was in Brave and the Bold here and there. But like, yeah, I have to agree with Jay. Where are the, you know, movie skins? And I'm not just talking about the Margot Robbie skins. Those would sell amazingly well. And to my mind, there are at least like 6 or 7 outfits just from the films. There might be more than that. And I'm talking about the original Suicide Squad movie. It was like 2016, 2017. I'm talking about the Suicide Squad, and I'm talking about Birds of Prey. There's at least like 6, 7 outfits, if not more, just for Harley Quinn. And I think most players would purchase all of them. Okay? King Shark. Give him the design that he has in the outfit design anyway, that he has in the HBO series. Give him the shorts that he has in the movie The Suicide Squad. Give Deadshot the outfit that Will Smith wears in the first Suicide Squad movie. You know, I mean, I think people want these things, and I agree with Jay. I can't understand why they aren't delivering. They really need to look at what they're doing. At one point, Jay even went so far as to say, are they like trying to almost sabotage a game? Do they want the game to succeed? And I can fully understand how, with seeing the technical issues of the game, seeing where the store is at, like you would think the store is a pretty easy win. Because here's the thing too, everybody. There's not an insane amount of licensing that would have to be done. WB owns Rocksteady. This isn't a Crystal Dynamics situation that Marvel's Avengers had, where Crystal Dynamics had to work with both Marvel and Disney, and, you know, and get, I guess, okay from Square Enix on stuff too. So, like, there's a lot going on there. No, no, no. So my idea is just the outfit. It's Harley's outfits. It's the outfit that Deadshot wore in the first Suicide Squad movie. Not likenesses. No. Keep the characters the way they are. Keep the characters the way they are. They didn't go wild with specific likenesses in the Marvel's Avengers that I recall. That was mostly outfits. And I think people would definitely purchase just about every Harley outfit. For almost positive. Give us the comic book outfits. Give us Roller Harley. Oddly enough, one of the Super Zeros has a helmet on. The Harley actually does, one of them, because there's like 2 Super Zeros for each character apparently, and a roller derby helmet. So I'm like, that's a really odd decision. That's weird. Genuine question: do you feel that some of these as a service are potentially poisoning the well, and this will cause the general public to think twice before purchasing such games? Yes. Yes. Sadly, yes. It started with Marvel's Avengers, and I still like Marvel's Avengers to this day, especially the campaign. I wish that maybe I didn't get so many cosmetics for it. But otherwise, I very much loved the story expansions it had, especially the War for Wakanda and the main campaign. Those things were great. Okay? But that left a bad taste in people's mouths. And now I think it's not necessarily games as a service people are freaking out over. It's games as a service involving superheroes. I could be wrong. Because that might be why Helldivers is doing so well, because it's not actual superheroes. It's more of like a mix between like Star Wars and Starship Troopers or something. But like if you're looking at it as a Star Wars mix, we're the Stormtroopers. We're not we're not the rebellion. Indeed, my Iron Smash. Indeed, yes. It takes way more time and money, not counting licensing and likenesses. But again, they could give us these movie skins, you know, for Suicide Squad at least. You know, WB owns them. I can't see why they aren't. What the game needs, and I look at this every few weeks actually, because it changes. It changes. What the game needs, Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League, is to Get people excited about Deathstroke, even though he's like the fourth character coming. Get people really excited about that. Obviously, let them know, let the curtain up, let them know about Mr. Freeze, let them know about Lawless. Again, stop with all the mystery. But while you're doing that, get them excited that, hey, after Deathstroke, someone else is coming. That's amazing. You know, whether that be Cheetah, whether that be Peacemaker or Black Manta, get people super excited by like a big win character that everyone wants to play. That's what they need to do. I feel that story-wise, Jay has suggested this in a previous video and this one actually. I feel story-wise, there's no way for them to give us Deathstroke second or even third. I feel it's story-based and we need to kind of have the story play out and then those characters will be in the game. I am also well, we'll get to that. We'll get to that in a moment. So, let's see here. I've got a number of things written. 1 second, let me read. Hey, Crinky, how you doing? I agree with that. I agree with that. In fact, when I found out that Helldivers 2 was $40, in my head, it was actually like a balloon, okay, like a thought balloon, but in my head, not outside, that said, why not? These raving reviews, and the game is $40. Why not? Why not? I think that the $70 price tag is not a why not price. I think that's a wine and dine me price. I think that price needs to prove itself to the average gamer at this point. I think things are different now and after COVID with the games that people buy. And I'm not saying games should not be $70. I'm saying that I feel that there's this like almost a courting period that full price games need to have with players. You know, show us some of the enemies, show us one of the levels, you know, deep dives, all of that stuff. And games have been doing that for many years, but I think it's got to be done a little earlier. I think they, for whatever reason, now they're like, games come out in 4 months and blam. You know, what's really cool though with Star Wars Outlaws, going back to that, when they first showed the first trailer months ago, they also had a 12-minute video of gameplay. You got to see a whole mess of gameplay right away. So it wasn't all up to question of what was like a CG trailer. You got to see Kay, you got to see Nyx, you got to see Nyx actually run over and get Kay a gun and jump over and like hit a button for her and stuff like that. You got to see how the game worked. Matter of the movie stuff being set later in the pipeline. That's not a good idea though, Iron Smash. That's what Marvel's Avengers tried as well, and that led to some huge difficulties. People were basically begging for MCU outfits. I want to say it was not until March of 2021, when the game came out September of 2020, that we got any MCU outfits. Because I think it started with Hawkeye. I'm trying to remember. It was a long time. It was a long time. It was at least 3 or 4 months, if not the 6 months that Hawkeye came out. Marvel's Avengers really caused a lot of damage, especially with the information the leakers released as to upcoming characters. See, though, that was only the super hardcore people that even cared about the leaks, Mike. One of the most difficult things I've noticed in gaming, and even like in if you're a cinephile, a huge fan of film, you know, probably 5, maybe 10% of the audience. In all honesty, the average person knew nothing about that. Now, when things started blowing up, like and Forbes started commenting, sure, Sure, that percentage got larger. But for the most part, it's a smaller group of people that know these things. So I wouldn't go putting the blame squarely on that. I agree. I agree. Even if your game is going to take a small hit, getting that game in more people's hands, especially if it's going to have an active store, is the way to go. That's the way to go. See, Iron Smash, I honestly didn't realize. Okay, so this is so weird to me when you mention that. I feel they should still have Halloween outfits. I feel they shouldn't be available yet. I feel that they should have just had them come out this October. You know, I think that would have been, they might have even sold better, to be honest with you. Now, my hope is, and I don't know we'll get this, we'll get monster versions maybe of the Suicide Squad for Halloween. Because I think people will want more Halloween outfits. Or Halloween outfits that are at least new around Halloween. So, like, yeah, when you told me that, I was like, oh my god, why? I might have been thinking that. I may not have said that, but I was like, oh, they put out the Halloween outfits now. I see. I see. They might have less players. I mean, let me continue the things I think the game needs. For sure, they have to look at the hardcore players and be like, oh my god, they're all having to break down all their legendary weapons because they have no room for anything. And that will only get worse with every season that happens and the new infamous and notorious weapons that drop that we need to have. Okay? We need to have a way to store weapons and gear. Again, I think the best idea is taking one of those many lockers that are now in the Hall of Justice and let us store like 300 items in them. Okay? Give us another 300, and I think for a long time we won't be like, oh god, we need to store more things. I think that'll be really good for a long period of time. Because I do not like every 2 sessions I play having to go through and break down weapons for an hour. It's not fun. And to do so, I have to like go through and read like all the features of the weapon in some cases, because I'll have multiple legendaries. I'll have multiple non-master infamous weapons. They weren't able to do stuff out of order. The actual Halloween one didn't actually release, but the very clearly Halloween-like ones. I'm hoping. I'm hoping those aren't the only Halloween outfits, because I am sure that people would love monsterized characters. And oh my god, go from DC Comics to do that. You got like that characters that lend themselves to Halloween. You got Grundy. Solomon Grundy, you've got Swamp Thing, you've got a whole mess of Etrigan. You got Etrigan, that's actually a good one. Yeah, that would be great. Easter skins being fast tracked in place. See, those I thought were really nice skins though. I thought the Joker was a really good skin, and I thought the Harley was a really good skin, and also Deadshot. Deadshot with almost like having a Cadbury egg for his head. That was crazy. That was crazy. With the tinfoil outfits for just about everybody, I like those. I like those. I don't see using them all year, but I think they're very well made outfits. And I think they, no joke, could have charged $10 a piece on those. Like, there's an insane amount of detail. And then when you think you're done with detail, you're like, oh, wait, that's icing. That's icing for the laces on the boots. Like, it's pretty nutty. Yeah, and even like the Twitch skins that were given away, those are really nice too. Like, they definitely have a team that can make excellent outfits. So there's no reason to think that if they did the movie outfits, they wouldn't sell like gangbusters. Note, I'm not kidding you here when I say this. Some players would come back to play some of the game and purchase the Harley outfits. It's true. It is true. Harley is that popular of a character. And they might even put in more time to play as Harley because they have the outfits they wanted. Okay, so beyond storage, which is very important, especially for hardcore players, okay? Beyond storage, we need more DC villains. How do you do a DC game in Metropolis and only give us Brainiac? And possibly Lex Luthor. Possibly. Like, and you're telling me too, and it's hard for me to believe it even, Penguin is the only villain that survived in Metropolis? We know Riddler's alive, apparently. There have to be more. Livewire, where is she? Like, they definitely need more villains. They also need more than just Brainiac enemies. This is an issue Marvel's Avengers had. People got tired in there of fighting robots. Well, I will admit that these biomechanical beings, they're not exactly robots, and they definitely have more personality. You can hear them talking and stuff. That's actually a win. But we need more. You know? We need more. Like, even like Metallo, he would have a different type of robot army if he was in this game. You know? There really need to be more DC villains, okay? They can't just subsist on Brainiac alone. Even Marvel's Avengers realized this. Like, they were building up to Ultron. They were building up to the Kree War. They knew that you couldn't just have this, okay? Game modes. We need them like yesterday. We need to have a number of game modes that are new, exciting, and fresh for Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League. Don't get me wrong, I like incursions, especially the newer ones. I think they're very cool, but we need more. It can't just be you're picking between 3 to 6 missions in Endgame. The open world is fun, but there need to be, you'd have to have more exciting things to happen and surprises in the open world, you know? I'd almost say something like a more difficult boss thing would show up, but that only works with like, well, I guess it would technically work single player, but with a team of 4. But yeah, there needs to be reasons for people that are playing the game to continue playing, and reasons for people that have just left it or haven't played it yet that want to come to the game. Okay? And if people are going on and on about some cool Gambit-like, you know, from Destiny, the game Destiny, Gambit type of game mode, right? Or some other really cool enemies that have shown up in Metropolis, right? Like, what in the hell has, like, Gorilla Grodd been up to? What has Mr. Mixixpitalik been up to? Are they cool with all this with Brainiac? Is this... I can't see them being cool with this. Like, there's so many great DC villains, and I'm like... I need... Also, too, I pray to God that not all the Brainiacs look exactly like the Brainiac that we have seen in the first chapter, or not first chapter, in the first part of the game, or even like visually the Brainiac that we've seen before. There are so many cool Brainiacs. There's Indigo, there's Brainiac 5. Like they're not all exactly the same. In fact, the first one says his name is Vril Dox, which is a specific Brainiac. So if you're going to have 13 Brainiacs and people that have actually read the comic books are playing your game, they're going to expect some of those Brainiacs to be unique and very different. And if not, it's very, very disappointing. Very. Like the idea that they were like, there's only one boss and you fight him 13 times. That is a worse idea than most of the ideas in Marvel's Avengers. Marvel's Avengers retooled Hulk and added some new features and made him Maestro. Gave us a new boss to fight. Okay? For bosses to refight and enjoy, we had a jet type vehicle. We had a spider tank. We had, as I mentioned, Maestro, Abomination, and Taskmaster. That's not even like a wealth of villains. The game even needed more than that. But we at least had like 5, and then they added a few more villains to fight. You know? Ulysses Claw. We got Ulysses Claw. A robot Brainiac sense of like, yeah, definitely. I'm really hoping that some of the Brainiacs are different. I can't understand the development if... See, to me it sounds like they didn't talk to enough people early in development that love the comic books and love the characters. I don't know. There's just so many things that just don't make sense to me, right? In a way, but that's just another version of Brainiac now. Brainiac should have been his own thing. Tentacles, crazy like miniature looking drones that look like the ship itself that are attacking you. Brainiac's own soldiers, like not the ones we're facing that were human, but like, you know, the mechanical robot looking Brainiac soldiers. There's so many things they could have done for a Brainiac battle, and I don't know if we're going to get a true Brainiac battle at any point. I think it's cool that we get to refight the Justice League members, but it still feels on some level a little bit lazy to have us fight the same boss 13 times. I mean, Monica Rappaccini, we only had to fight like, what, 3-4 times? And they were getting ready to give us Ultron. They were getting ready to give us the Kree War. So, like, they were, you know, they were trying to give us more at one point. Again, that's going back to Marvel's Avengers, in case I wasn't clear. But yeah, I mean, storage, game modes, that might be one of the biggest things, because I think everyone wants it to be excited and have like the villains and stuff like that. But like, there needs to be more to do. There needs to be more excitement around the seasons. Because right now, after episode 1 of season 1, people think that that's what every season's going to be like. You know, if Daily Chuckle's exciting, let us get excited for it. If Q versus K, the rumored Gambit type mode, shows up, let us know. Give us some info. Get people excited. It seems like they're just trying to give information to the small and getting smaller group of people playing the game. They need to be loud and get people excited. You know, I think the Easter outfits actually did that. I think the Easter outfits actually brought a lot of players in. Maybe some that were on the fence and actually were able to get it on sale around the holiday and buy it. That's so sad. That's so sad. But at one point we were going to get them. Okay, everybody, I think I've talked way too much about video games. Like, I went way out of balance. Hoarder's Comic Flex today became Hoarder's Gaming Hodgepodge. Okay, 1 second, everybody. Let us toy around. Let us get the taste of silicon and gaming out of our mouths, and let us toy around a bit. 1 second here. Let's see, what should I start with? What's really exciting here? Oh, how about this? I think this is pretty astonishing. Astonishing Wolverine, everybody. A very good take on the yellow-blue outfit Wolverine with an extra head that doesn't have the mask on, and 2 pairs of extra hands, including 2 hands on the figure that have really good looking blades on them. $24.99. Pre-orders are actually live right now for Astonishing Wolverine, and I like him a lot. I think they did a really good job on him. I believe that Astonishing is the Joss Whedon run, so there's that, but I think it's a great take on Wolverine. Okay, next up, this figure is going to be super popular, and if you were very careful and lucky yesterday, you might have gotten a deal on it. Superior Spider-Man. Look at the helmet with the reflective eyes. You got the extra head that is more like a regular Spider-Man head, numerous hands, and I think it looks phenomenal. Plus you get those like red mechanical like limbs that come off on the side and on the back, just like in the comic. Superior Spider-Man. Now this is what's wild. You get more with this one than you do the previous figure I just showed you with those legs and everything. The retail on this is $29.99, but if you acted quickly enough, most of the toy sites, including Amazon, had it for $24.99. So you actually would have got like a sale, and I apologize, it was before the episode of Hoarder's Comic Flex, so I really couldn't say much, but yeah, and it was quick. They adjusted that quick, but yeah, $24.99 was a possibility for it. I think it's really good. I really like that figure a lot. Okay, next up we have a pretty great figure. Okay, we have a pretty great figure coming up, and it's just like your opinion, man. The Dude abides, and now the Dude can be in your collection. Jeff Lebowski, the Dude himself, has a McFarlane Movie Maniacs figure. Again, I think it's weird. I think they really should pull back on the Movie Maniacs title. It doesn't work with it being non-horror characters. The only reason I can think they're keeping it that way is in case they do some more horror characters that NECA doesn't get the rights to. That's the only reason I can think they're keeping the name. Because nothing about Jeff Lebowski screams the word maniac. Okay? But I think it's a really cool figure. He comes with a bottle of half and half, a milk carton of half and half. Okay, I don't know if that's supposed to be part of the rug he's standing on. I don't think so, because I recall that being like a whole different coloring. But I think it looks really good. You get the printed backdrop with it, $24.99, and that's from McFarlane Toys, and that pre-order I believe is live as well. But yeah, the Dude abides, and again, you could have him on your shelf. He also has a secret item that he comes with. It doesn't say what, and some people are wondering if it's actually going to be like, you know, the drink he was carrying, like the alcoholic drink. I think he drank White Russians, I think. I'm trying to remember what he drank. He had a specific drink. Anyway, yeah, so I think that's really cool as well. And I believe that's our exciting toys. Oh my God, we have one more, everybody. We have one more. Higher price point, but still pretty awesome. Danny Ketch's Ghost Rider. Danny Ketch. 6-inch figure. The bike, I think, looks great. I think Danny looks great. But it's going to be $60. So figure 30 for the figure with the accessories it's going to come with, 30 for the bike, or maybe 35 for the bike. I don't know exactly. I think it's really nice, though. I think it looks good. Coke Zero. What, like a Coke Zero action figure? I don't even know. I don't even know. Okay, everybody. We are now done toying around. It is time for us to look into the non-existent crystal ball, into the future of comic books. The future all the way to 1 week from today. Okay, and first up we have something scary. Spectrograph. James Tynion IV, my good man, and Christian Ward have teamed up for a nightmarish 4-issue comic book, and I believe it's like double-sized. There's something interesting going on with the covers, too. They're all formatted like that, so I expect this to be a larger physical book or something. Basically, there's this house that remains dormant. And it's been there for many, many years. No one's bought it. No one's even thought about living in it. And terrible, terrible things have happened in this house over the years. And it's full of its ghosts and nightmarish things. And now someone, I believe, is about to purchase it. And we're going to find out what has been going on there all this time. Spectrograph, #1. Next up, we have one of the hottest comic books going currently. That's okay, Iron. Have a good night. Ultimate Spider-Man 4. Okay. Peter met the Green Goblin. And now we're going to learn more about the Green Goblin. And Peter and him might strike up a friendship. There's a lot going on in this book. It's very good. A lot of people say it's one of the best Spider-Man books in years. I think I'm with them saying that as well. I don't know if I'm going to review this. I might. I'll feel weird doing so, though, because I think it's then the third or the fourth book I've reviewed. Like, I usually like to do one here and there, but, like, it's been really good, and I feel people really enjoy it. And it's something I look forward to reading. So purely selfishly, I get the books home, and it's like one of the first things I read is Ultimate Spider-Man right now. So there's that too. Next up, we have... Get rid of this picture here. Dick Tracy, #1. Now, this one might be difficult to get, everybody. Mad Cave Comics. Okay? They're not like a massive company, and like for me to get something from Mad Cave, even at a really one of the best comic shops in Wisconsin, I had to request it and order the book. And that was the one about the Exorcist that was like a mix between that and Face Off. I don't have the title in my head, I apologize. But it was very good. It was a very good and freaky book. Now they have Dick Tracy, #1. And I love 1930s noir. And I love the insane rogues gallery that Dick Tracy has. Right there you see Flat Top. That's one of his big popular villains. And a murder happens, and Dick Tracy is basically there with his radio watch. And it should be pretty exciting. It should be pretty exciting. I'm looking forward to it. Dick Tracy. I might even review this one. I'm not sure. Dick Tracy, #1. And let's see, what else do we have? Ooh, this won't be a super long thing, but Duke #5. If you're a fan of Transformers and G.I. Joe, then definitely check out and see what I believe it's Skybound Image is doing. I think that's the video there, or not video, the image there. But yeah, what they're doing is great. Transformers, I just read the most recent issue. That was wild. Cobra Commander has its own miniseries, and that's going on right now. And this is the final issue of the Duke miniseries. They're probably going to have like an actual G.I. Joe comic that's coming out soon. I'm not exactly sure when, though. But yeah, as you can see, he's about to fight a robotic Cobra soldier, and they're pretty frightening. They got these visor faces, and they've got, like, you can see the circuitry on their chests and stuff. It was actually one of my favorite toys as a kid, was that action figure. They were called BATS, Bats. But yeah, that's definitely a bat's claw in that picture right there. So it's going to be a difficult battle for Duke. And finally, oh, my apologies. I went a little bit too soon there. Oh, okay. So we're actually done with the future of comic books. That totally wasn't a crazy gaffe that I made. That totally wasn't. Now, for no apparent reason, something you definitely didn't see on the screen a few moments ago, the comic we're reviewing today, Superman #13. It's hard for me to keep track, actually. So the next book in this House of Brainiac story arc is going to be next week. One of the crossover books is Power Girl, actually. The new issue of Power Girl. But here is Superman 13, and this is episode 2 or part 2 of the House of Brainiac storyline. And it is very good, especially if you like Lobo. There's an incredible moment with Lobo and Soups, and I think it was kind of an excuse to get Lobo on his famous bike and to get Soups on a crazy bike too, because what's happened is the United Planets and the Guardians of Oa have basically stopped anyone from coming to or leaving Earth. Okay, and that's all connected into the current run of Green Lantern. And that's been very interesting, but that's a different story. So they had to use very small vehicles in order to get to where they're going. And it's Superman and Lobo in space. And yeah, it's very cool. Plus, you find out that this version of Brainiac, which is connected somehow to a digital version of Lex Luthor, is weak, and it has a physical weakness, and all of a sudden, surrounded by other Brainiacs, the ones we've known, which was really weird. It just sort of happens, and they take him to a bath of some kind in order to rejuvenate him. Also, we have a number of heroes, because what happened is Brainiac took everyone with any kind of power and basically abducted them. But we don't know exactly why. We do know, however, in this issue, that Lena Luthor was a huge part of what Brainiac has been up to. And Lex is willing to do anything to save his daughter, which will probably not bode well for the Man of Steel. Plus, Supergirl gets her hands on some Coluan technology. You'll know Coluan technology if you played Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League. It's a big part of that game. And basically, when she defeated one of Brainiac's soldiers, she basically had the skull in her hand, as she was abducted and put like into a pod. She still has that. And knowing, I believe it was Brainiac 5 that she knew for a while, she had certain information about Coluan tech. She does something to this mechanical skull, and it seems to possibly shrink her and the other heroes. Similar to the technology for like the bottled city of Kandor. So it's been very good though. I've been very much enjoying the House of Brainiac story arc. So much that I might actually pick up next week's Power Girl. Because even though I don't read that book normally, the only books this covers are Action Comics and Superman, which I already read, and Green Lantern, which I already read, and finally, Power Girl. So just those books. So the only thing I'm going out of my way for would be to read Power Girl. So that's usually not the case in a crossover. A crossover is more like 6 to 8 books, maybe more, for multiple months. But this is, I'd say, a lot more reasonable. Plus, there's going to be a large, like, a special issue House of Brainiac. Like a special that's going to be larger and probably have a lot more information as to what's been going on. So, okay, everybody. I want to thank you all very much for watching. I did go on a bit about gaming, maybe a little bit too long. Who knows these things? Probably you if you're watching. Let's see here. If you want to see more of me, and again, heaven knows why you would. You know, heaven knows. But twitch.tv/Hoarder Gamer. Right now, I'm doing a lot of Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League. Next week, I'll be doing Stellar Blade. Played through that demo 3 times, and it is awesome. Let's see. Also, tomorrow, Xbox Live Mike and I will be doing Games on a Plane. That's under twitch.tv/Games on a Plane, where we play games on a plane. You'll just have to see. Thank you, everybody, for your time. I hope you have a great week, and I will see you later. Bye-bye.